Hey, what's up everybody? This is James, aka jmooreonkeys, and I'm here today with a quick little tutorial breaking down preacher chords, or chords you can use to back up a preacher in church. So traditionally, I'm going to show you this in D flat today. So let me just get the scale out the way real quick. D flat is the 1, E flat is the 2, F is the 3, G flat is the 4, A flat is the 5, B flat is the 6, C is the 7, and D flat is the 1. And some other notes that you're going to see are E, the flat 3, G, the flat 5, and B, the flat 7. Because when you're dealing with preacher chords and other kind of churchy elements, you kind of tend to go a little more minor as well. So you'll see E, G, and B as well. So the idea behind preacher chords is when it starts to get hype in service and, the spirit starts moving, the preacher's really going, and you want to play chords mainly on the organ, depending on what the situation is, to kind of support the high energy that's going on in the room. So traditionally you would play these kind of chords on organ, if at all possible. I know some churches don't have organs. Some places the organ might not be what you want it to be, so you can do it on organ or on piano. I've had to do both. So what I'm going to say for this video is if you're in a situation where you have to do this on piano, I'm going to show you the tritones and everything in your left hand. But if you're just having to play it on piano, then just focus on the chord that I give you in the right hand, and your left hand just focus on hitting the bass so that you can really have that full powerful sound. I like to keep my right hand kind of up high, my left hand real low, just to intensify it if it's on piano. If you're on organ, your feet can play what the bass is doing, and you can use those tritones in your left hand. It frees you up a little more. So just keep that in mind as we go through this tutorial. So let me start with the basics. Of course, the 1, 3, 4, up, 5. I'm just going to show you a few patterns today. The 1, 3, 4, up, 5. All right, so let's start. It's gonna be a little bit like this. All right, so I'm gonna show you those real quick. So over the 1, you're gonna play in your left hand F and B, and in your right hand you're gonna play D flat, F, A flat, B, and D flat. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll play the C sharp and the E flat together with my thumb to make the sound a little bit more full. So same thing I just showed you, I just moved the right hand up an octave. So that's over your 1. The 3 is going to be the same chord, same in the left hand and the right hand. Or if you want to change the left hand tritone, you can do E flat and A. So 1, 3, or same chord in your right hand. You could switch up that tritone. Over the 4, so my left hand moves down a half step to E and B flat, and my right hand is going to play E, A flat, B flat, and D flat. And sometimes I'll double up the D flats to make it an octave, just to create a fuller sound. You don't have to, but it's just something to think about. So that's over your 4. Flat 5. I'm playing the same thing in my left hand, E and B flat. You can add that G in there to get that diminished sound. And then in the right hand, we're playing E, G, B flat, and D flat. So we're just taking this chord that we had for the 4 and moving the A flat down to G. we can create that diminished chord over the flat 5 and over the 5, A flat in the bass. My left hand is playing G flat, B flat, and B. And my right hand is playing E flat, G flat, B flat, and D flat. Let me just go back to 1. So all that so far: 1, 3, 4, 4, flat 5, 5, and then back to 1. So those are the basic chords. If you don't know that, then you need to make sure that you get that down. And for those who don't know this or don't know it in every key yet, I have a link in the description to a free PDF where I lay out all of the chords for 3, the 4, the flat 5, and the 5. I show you the bass, the left hand, and the right hand. So if you're on organ or on piano, you're covered either way. And I show you that for all 12 keys. So if you don't know that or you need to brush up a little bit, hit the link in the description so that you can get your free PDF of all these chords spelled out. So something else I like to do after I hit that 5. Actually, let me show you an alternate 5 chord that you can do too. So you got your 3, 4, up. And a lot of times we'll hear the 5 play like this. Like that. So you're over your A flat in the bass, and you're playing that tritone this time. So F sharp for G flat and C. And in your right hand, you can play, I'll make it simple, and you can play an E major chord. So B, E, A flat, and B. And sometimes I'll play it, I'll take out that top B, and I'll play the A flat on top so that you can really get that kind of 5, that suspense sound that you get from the 5. And then back to the 1. So that's a chord that you can use on the 5. You'll hear that a lot. So after we do 3, 4, 5, sometimes I'll just keep on walking straight up, almost like I'm doing a shout walk up, which I have a video about. Check that out. I just keep going as if I'm doing the shout walk up. So I'll keep going from 5, and my bass will go 6, flat 7, 7, so I can get back to 1. So coming from the 5, I'll do the 6. So that's B in the bass, B flat in the bass, 6 in the bass. My left hand is doing D and A flat. And if you're doing these chords on piano, I would suggest playing just the that 7th. Don't add the D in there unless you can stretch it up here. You don't want the bass to get too muddy and cluttered. So that's if you're on piano. So yeah, I'll show you now with the bass taken out. So D and A flat in the left hand. My right hand is basically playing a G minor chord. B flat, D, G, and B flat. And if you can't stretch all the way this B flat octave, just take out the bottom one. And then you move it up a half step. So now we have B in the bass, E flat, and A in my left hand. And then I have E flat, A flat, and B in my right hand. So 6, flat 7. Next over the 7, C in the bass. I have E flat, E and B flat in my right hand, in my left hand, excuse me. And in my right hand, I'm doing C, E, A, and C. So I'm just walking that minor chord up. And then when I get to the 1, it's that same 1 chord I showed you. So altogether so far we have 1, 3, 4, 4, flat 5, 5, or on the 5 you could do, and you could walk it up to the 6, flat 7, 7, and back to the 1. All right, so that's a simple pattern. Let me show you another one. So I've done a video on this one too, but I did this one in E flat. You could do a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. So let's start with the 3. So 3, F in the bass, and you're gonna play E flat and A. And you can use, for this one I'll do this chordal voicing. So E flat and A in the bass, and in your right hand you could do E flat, A flat, and D flat. 3, 6, so you have B flat in the bass, D and A flat in my left hand. My right hand is playing D, G flat, A flat, and D flat. The 2, so I'm doing G and D flat in my left hand. And this is over the E flat in the bass. G and D flat in the left hand. And then I have G, B, D flat, and E in my right hand. 2. And then that same 5 that I showed you before. The G flat, B flat, B in the left hand, E flat, G flat, B flat, and D flat. A lot of flats. In the right hand. And that's over the 5, A flat. So we have 3, 6, 2, 5, or 5, the other 5 I showed you, and then 1. All right, so we've gone over 3, 4, flat 5, 5, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. We've gone over 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Something else you can do to make these chords more interesting is changing the bass note. So instead of doing 3, 4, flat 5, 5, you can start it from the 2, or start from the 1 and go to the 2. So 1, and then instead of playing the 4, go to the 2. So you're going to be doing that's E flat in the bass, and you're going to be doing the same thing you did for the 4 chord. E and B flat in your left hand, and that same 4 chord. So 2. And the same chord you did for the flat 5, you're gonna do, but put E in the bass. Everything else stays the same, that diminished chord. And then you're at your 3. And you can walk it up from there. Or since you're at the 3, you could do 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. 3, 6. All right, so those are just some things to try and play around with. So instead of playing everything on the 4, try the 2. So just some things to just play around with in that pattern. And one more thing that I want to show you guys is a run that you can do when you're backing up a preacher. I don't want this video to get too long. So a simple run that you could do is the D flat minor pentatonic scale, which is just 5 notes. Penta means 5 notes. So that scale is really simple. It's just D flat, E, G flat, A flat, B, and D flat. But I'll do it going down, descending, so. And then I'll keep going. It's a really simple and really churchy. So I start on the D flat and I go down the pentatonic scale. So D flat, B, A flat, G flat, E, and D flat. And practice that going down 2 octaves at least, just to make your run sound a little bit more rich, like they're actually going someplace. So one thing I like to add to that at the end, a good habit to develop, is ending your runs like this to create kind of a sense of closure. And I'll show you what that is. So you're holding D flats on the outside throughout this whole movement. And the inner notes, I'm playing with my left hand, I'm doing B flat. And my right hand is doing G flat. And then I bring these notes, my left hand, I move this B flat up to B. And I move this G flat down to F. So it's kind of like I'm doing a 5-1 move. So you gotta make sure you land on it. Okay, so practice doing that and ending your runs like that. All right, so let's go over what we have. So over the 1, we have the 3, 4, 4, flat 5, 5, or 5. Then we go to the 6, B, flat 7, 7, back to the 1, and then you can go to the 3, 6, 2, 5, 4, 5, back to the 1, then you can go up to the 2, flat 3, 3, then you can go to the 4, or you can go to the 6, whatever you feel like. So make sure you practice that. So those are a good start to your preacher chords. If you're kind of past the basic and you wanted some different patterns, I hope I was able to show you some. And of course, there's more that I do, but I just wanted to kind of make a video for covering the basics and also giving a little bit extra if you kind of are stuck in the 3/4 flat 5/5 box. Just some stuff to get you thinking outside of the box creatively. And just because I showed you in a certain order these chords in a certain order, doesn't mean that you have to play them exactly 1, 3, 5, 5, 6. You don't have to like follow a specific format. Listen to your ear, listen to where the preacher is going, and see if you can kind of use the chords and use the different patterns to tell a story to kind of help the music aid and not just be a specific strict format, but use your ear, see what fits where, and play around with it a little bit. So practice these in every key, guys, and practice that minor pentatonic run with the ending. That's something really simple. So practice that in every key. And I hope this helped everybody. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for all your support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy practicing.